Hello and welcome to the Circular Economy Excellent podcast. Today we are discussing my book's first chapter, Circular Economy, the Next Transformative Shift in the Economy. I'm your host, Henrik Hvid Jensen. To help me, I have AI generate dialogues about chapter 1. I wrote this chapter to highlight how the circular economy represents a major turning point in how we produce, consume, and compete. It will disrupt businesses just as much as previous economic transformations, like the arrival of electricity, the dawn of the railroads, and the digitization of our societies. This shift isn't just about protecting the environment. It is primarily a strong business strategy that can unlock new revenue sources, lower cost, and increase resilience. I'm arguing that you have until 2030 to become circular, digital, and clean. Do also watch for the 9 catalysts that I outline, ranging from climate change to digital technologies, and how they are all pushing businesses to adapt faster than ever before. In a moment, 2 AI-powered avatars will discuss this chapter's key points as virtual co-hosts on a podcast. They will explore why this shift matters and how manufacturers can embrace a cleaner, more digital, and more circular future. I hope you will come away with fresh insights and be motivated to learn more from reading my book. Enjoy this conversation between 2 artificial minds about how the circular economy reshapes businesses and our world.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We are going to be jumping into the first chapter of Henrik H. Hvid Jensen's book, Circular Economy Opportunities and Pathways for Manufacturers.
Yeah, it's a pretty dense title, I have to admit, but the content is really, really fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to reading the rest of this book. This chapter was really just kind of a taste of what's to come.
Absolutely. It's a great overview, and I think it's really smart how Jensen kicks off this chapter.
Yeah.
You know, he draws this parallel between the dawn of the electric age and the shift towards circularity that we're seeing today.
Yeah, it's like, can you imagine being a manufacturer at the end of the 19th century and like electricity is changing everything?
Oh, yeah.
And if you're clinging to like gaslighting, you're going to be left behind.
Absolutely. And that's Jensen's point, right? He's saying that the circular economy is causing a similar kind of seismic shift in manufacturing. This isn't just a trend, it's a complete transformation of how businesses operate.
Yeah, those who adapt will thrive, and those who don't will
Become a relic of the past.
they'll be a blockbuster or something.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. What exactly are we talking about when we say circular economy? What is that?
Well, Jensen defines it really well in this chapter. He contrasts it with the traditional linear model, which is, take, make, dispose.
Right.
And he explains that circularity is about moving away from this wasteful approach and embracing a system where resources are kept in use for as long as possible.
So it's really closing the loop, right?
Exactly.
Not just recycling, but redesigning things.
Yeah, it's not just recycling.
To minimize that waste.
It's about redesigning products and processes from the ground up to minimize waste and maximize resource utilization.
And he even gives a really great example in this chapter with Stellantis.
Oh, yeah.
The automotive giant.
Huge company.
Yeah, they have this like Dare Forward 2030 plan.
Yeah.
That's all about embedding circular economy principles into their operations.
And they're actually seeing tangible results already. They're aiming to increase recycling revenues, 10-fold design vehicles for end-of-life recycling and reuse, and they're planning to generate over 2 billion euros in revenue from circular economy activities by 2030.
That's amazing, and that just shows you right there. It's not just good for the planet, it's good for the bottom line.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about those business opportunities, because it sounds like there are a lot of ways that companies can actually make money from this.
Yeah, there are tons of opportunities, and Jensen breaks them down across different sectors. So, repair services are going to boom as products are designed to last longer, refurbishers. And remanufacturers will have a growing market for high-quality alternatives to brand new products.
I can definitely see that.
Recycling companies will benefit from an increased supply of materials, and even tier suppliers will find new opportunities in durable, repairable, and recyclable components.
Yeah, it's like a whole new world is opening up.
It really is. And OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, can explore leasing models, take-back schemes, service-based offerings.
Like everything is getting a makeover.
It really is a complete transformation.
So it's not just like a business model shift. It really is like an economic.
This is an economic transformation, and Jensen really drives that point home. He talked about technological innovation, particularly in areas like AI and robotics, which can drive efficiency and resource optimization.
Yeah, and he talks about how it's disrupting established norms, right?
Absolutely.
So new customer expectations, new industry practices like Uber and Airbnb, they just disrupted their whole industry.
Exactly. And Jensen actually cites Gartner predicting that circular supply chains will hit the peak of inflated expectations by 2024 and reach mainstream adoption within 5 to 10 years.
So this is happening fast.
It's happening very quickly.
It's not just some like far off thing.
No, it's not a trend. It's a transformation.
Yeah, and it's going to create some whole new markets while others kind of fade away.
Absolutely.
And he talks about how the circular economy fosters this like interconnectedness and interdependence between businesses.
Yes, because waste from one company becomes a resource for another, creating a more resilient ecosystem.
Right, and it seems like it really fundamentally changes how value is created.
It really does. Instead of focusing solely on production, the emphasis shifts to continuous usage cycles, resource efficiency in services. And there are some interesting projections out there. Like the World Economic Forum predicts that a circular car industry could see 10-fold revenue increases per vehicle over its life cycle.
Wow, that's huge.
It's a massive shift.
So how do we get there? Like, how do manufacturers make this happen?
Well, Jensen emphasizes that to stay competitive, manufacturers have to effectively integrate 3 key paradigms: clean production, digital technologies, and circular practices.
So minimizing environmental impact, leveraging technology, and creating those closed-loop systems.
Exactly.
It's not just about being green. It's about being a smarter, more efficient business.
Exactly. And in this chapter, he dives into 9 key catalysts that are driving this change. So we're seeing the impact of climate change pushing industries towards sustainable practices. Stakeholders, including customers, investors, employees, are demanding more environmentally responsible products and practices.
I mean, even Nielsen's Global Sustainability Report shows that consumers are prioritizing sustainable products and packaging. This isn't some niche thing anymore. This is mainstream.
It's absolutely mainstream, and the renewable energy transformation is gaining momentum, creating new opportunities and challenges for manufacturers. Governments are stepping in with policies and incentives to drive the transition to a circular economy.
Yeah, it's like all these factors are kind of converging at the same time.
It really is a perfect storm.
And we're seeing a shift from short-term thinking to these long-term commitments.
Right.
Where industries are recognizing that this isn't a fad. This is a fundamental change.
Exactly. And Jensen also talks about how waste is becoming increasingly unacceptable, both environmentally and economically. This is driving innovation in waste reduction and resource recovery.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the bad guy.
Right.
And then there's the need for resilient supply chains, especially after all the disruptions we saw during the pandemic.
Exactly. Circular models, with their emphasis on localized production, reuse, and recycling, offer a much more robust and adaptable approach.
And then there's the whole innovation piece, right?
Yeah, Jensen talks about the enhanced value and innovation that circularity fosters. We're seeing new business models, product designs, and revenue streams emerging, driven by a focus on resource efficiency and closed-loop systems.
So much opportunity.
There really is. And underpinning all of this is the transformative power of digital technologies.
Right, AI and all that.
Yeah, things like AI, 5G, collaborative robots, and advanced sensors are revolutionizing manufacturing, making it more efficient, more sustainable, and more responsive to changing needs.
I'm already feeling inspired, and we're just on chapter 1.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, and what I love about this book is that it's not just about the why of circularity, it's about the how. Jensen provides practical guidance, tools, and frameworks to help manufacturers navigate this transition.
It feels very actionable.
It is, and I'm really eager to dive into the rest of the book and see what other gems we can uncover.
Me too. This is just the beginning. Stick around for part 2 of this deep dive. We're going to explore some practical applications of circular economy principles and delve deeper into Jensen's insights on how manufacturers can become leaders in this new era of sustainable manufacturing.
Picking up where we left off, I think it's really cool how Jensen dives into like the nitty-gritty of what a circular economy actually looks like. You know, like how it works.
Right, because it's one thing to talk about like the big ideas and the concepts.
Yeah.
But manufacturers need to see like, okay, how do I actually put this into practice in my business?
Exactly. And he uses this really great analogy in the chapter. He talks about a butterfly to illustrate the difference between the linear and the circular models. So the linear model is like a straight line, you know, from resource extraction to product creation to disposal.
Yeah, it's like a one-way street.
It's a one-way street to the landfill.
Yeah, and then it's out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
Right.
But of course, we know that those resources don't just disappear.
Right.
So that's where the circular model comes in. And Jensen talks about it having two wings that represent the technical and the biological cycles.
Okay, I'm following you.
The technical cycle is all about keeping products and materials in circulation through reuse, repair, remanufacturing, recycling, all of those things.
So it's like giving those products multiple lives, basically.
Exactly.
Extending their usefulness, minimizing waste.
Precisely. And Jensen focuses specifically on that technical cycle. In this book, he's really exploring those pathways that manufacturers can use to keep those materials flowing within the economy.
And he has that visual in the chapter, right?
He does.
To help us kind of see how this works.
He does. Figure 6 in the chapter is a circular economy flow diagram. And it really brings this concept to life. It shows you the journey of a product through each stage, from resource extraction all the way to recycling and back into the loop.
So it's like a closed loop system.
It is a closed loop system.
Okay, so we can see like step by step.
You can actually see how each step contributes to that continuous cycle, from material supply and component manufacturing to customer use, repair, refurbishment, and finally recycling.
It's like a dance.
Right? It is like a dance.
Where each step is important to keep the whole thing going.
I love that analogy. And speaking of choreography, Jensen also breaks down the business opportunities within a circular economy really clearly. He shows how different sectors can benefit from this model, you know, from repair service providers to refurbishers, remanufacturers, recycling companies, even logistics providers.
So it's not just for the big guys. It's like
it's for everyone.
A whole ecosystem.
Absolutely. And he doesn't just tell us about these opportunities. He provides a roadmap for how to capitalize on them. He goes deep into each of the 5 R's: redistribute, repair, refurbish, remanufacture, and recycle, offering insight strategies and even case studies to guide manufacturers on this journey to circularity.
Okay, so he's not just saying like, hey, this is a good idea. He's saying, here's how you do it.
Exactly. He's giving you a toolbox.
Yeah.
Filled with the tools you need to make this transition. And to make it even more practical, he introduces frameworks like the Circular Economy Strategy Framework, the CESF, and the Manufacturing Circular Maturity Framework, the MCMF.
Catchy.
I know, right? So manufacturers can assess where they stand on their circularity journey and create a tailored plan for improvement.
It's like a self-assessment tool.
It is. And what I find really compelling is that Jensen emphasizes that this is not just about embracing circular practices in isolation. He stresses the interconnectedness of clean production, digital technologies, and circular practices.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. It's like a 3-legged stool. You need all 3 to create a truly sustainable and competitive manufacturing model.
So you can't just do one thing, you got to do all of them.
Exactly. Clean production minimizes your environmental impact, digital technologies enhance efficiency, and enable innovation, and circular practices create those regenerative resource loops that we've been talking about.
It's like a holistic approach.
It is, and Jensen actually goes deeper into the specific digital capabilities that can empower manufacturers to build this clean, circular manufacturing paradigm.
Okay, so this is where like AI and all that comes in.
Exactly. He's talking about things like AI robotics, digital twins, and how they can be used to optimize resource use, design for disassembly, and track materials throughout their life cycle.
So we're not just talking about theory here.
We're talking about real-world applications.
Yeah.
And to help bridge the gap between aspiration and action, Jensen introduces the Sustainable Manufacturing Intelligence Framework.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
I know, right? The SMIF, for short. It's a practical tool that shows how digitalization can support the transition to circularity across various dimensions of a business.
Got it. So it's not just about adopting new technologies, it's about using them strategically.
Exactly. And this is where Jensen's 10-step circular advantage guide, the CAG, comes in, offering a detailed roadmap for manufacturers to navigate and thrive in this new economic landscape.
So he's giving us the step-by-step guide.
He's not just giving us a glimpse of the destination, he's giving us turn-by-turn directions to get there. And throughout this entire chapter, Jensen never loses sight of the big picture. He reminds us that this is about more than just profits. It's about creating a more sustainable and equitable future for all.
I like that.
It's about ensuring that future generations can enjoy the same resources and opportunities that we have today.
Right. It's about the long game.
It is, and he leaves us with this powerful message. He says, the circular economy, supported by digital innovation, offers a path to sustainable and competitive manufacturing.
He's basically issuing a challenge to manufacturers, right?
Yeah. He's saying, step up and become leaders in this new era.
It's exciting.
It's a call to action, a call to reimagine the way we do business and create a future where sustainability isn't just a buzzword, it's a core principle driving innovation and growth.
Now I'm on board.
Me too. And after reading this first chapter, I'm incredibly excited to see what the rest of Jensen's book has in store for us. He's clearly passionate about this topic, and his insights are both thought-provoking and practical.
I completely agree. It's like he's giving us a sneak peek behind the curtain, showing us what's possible when we embrace these principles of circularity and leverage the power of technology.
It's truly inspiring, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you. In part 3 of our deep dive, we'll explore even more of Jensen's insights and uncover those specific strategies that manufacturers can implement to become a circular economy champions.
As we wrap up our deep dive into this first chapter, one thing that really stood out to me was how Jensen kept going back to these historical parallels.
Oh, yeah.
Between past economic transformations
Yep.
and this shift towards a circular economy.
It's such a good point because it reminds us that, disruption is not new. We've seen this before.
Totally.
And those who adapt and innovate thrive.
Right.
And those who cling to the old ways,
Yeah.
they kind of fade away.
They're like the blockbuster.
Exactly.
The manufacturers who stuck with steam power when electricity came along.
Or the horse and buggy.
Yeah, exactly. They just couldn't see the writing on the wall.
They became relics of the past.
And Jensen is arguing that the same thing's going to happen with this circular economy.
Those are the same principle.
Those who embrace it and see it as an opportunity,
Yeah.
they'll be the leaders.
They'll define the future of manufacturing.
He makes this really interesting connection to those born digital disruptors.
Oh,
Like your Ubers and your Airbnbs.
Right. They completely upended their industries
Yeah.
by leveraging technology and just reimagining how things are done.
They didn't play by the old rules.
They created new ones.
Yeah. And he thinks that born circular companies
Yeah,
could do the same thing for manufacturing.
absolutely. Companies that have circularity baked into their DNA from the very beginning.
They're not just trying to
Yes.
stick it on as an afterthought.
Retrofit it on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. And this chapter really gives you the tools to do that, right?
it does. Jensen provides so much information and all these tools to help manufacturers on this journey. He outlines those key principles of circularity. He identifies the catalysts that are driving this transformation. And then he offers these practical strategies for implementation.
It's a whole roadmap.
It's like that circular economy flow diagram,
He gives you the checklist. He gives you the 5 R's.
the Sustainable Manufacturing Intelligence Framework.
It's a lot,
Yeah,
but in a good way.
it's a good way.
He's really trying to give people everything they need
He wants people to succeed.
to make this work.
Yeah,
I'm feeling really inspired.
you too.
I think this is a really positive look at what's possible.
The circular economy is not just a theory. It's a tangible opportunity for manufacturers to really create a better future
For everyone.
for themselves, for their customers, and for the planet.
I think you said it best.
Well, this is just the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
We'll be back with more deep dives into the world of circularity, and until then, keep those circular gears turning.
And let's build a future where sustainability and prosperity go hand in hand.
I hope you enjoyed the dialogues between our AI guests in Chapter 1. They covered a lot of ground, from the historical parallels of electricity and railroads to the modern surge in born circular businesses and all the new opportunities they bring. Before you turn the page, let me quickly recap some of the important ideas they raised. The circular economy isn't just a feel-good environmental story. It is a transformative force capable of creating new markets, revenue streams, and more competitive advantages for companies. They also mentioned how government policies, changing consumer expectations, and digital breakthroughs converge to push us towards more sustainable and competitive business methods. As you continue reading my book, consider these points and consider how they could apply to your organization or work. Thank you for listening to this special segment of the Circular Economy Excellence podcast. I hope this insight spark your curiosity and show you the potential to rethink old take, make, dispose models. Stay tuned for more chapters and more AI co-hosts where we'll dive even deeper into my book's chapters, which shows the possibilities of a cleaner, more digital and more circular business. I will also encourage you to visit circularpathwaysbook.com, where I will continue to explore the journey of this fascinating business concept.